Hello guys, what's up? I'm Brian here doing another video for you guys, and this time we are taking a look at Transformers Robots in Disguise Windblade. Now, to be honest, I didn't really want this figure to start because I think the red paint just looked terrible. I did not like the look, the style of it. I think she needs more black, and to this day, I think this figure needs more black. Which, thank God, there's going to be a Combiner Force version that has more paint applications. In fact, it has better paint applications. And I really got excited for that figure, but I don't know why I decided to pick this one up anyways. And I'm just thinking to myself, why did I decide to do that? I mean, all this has over that is the head, because this head is show accurate, at least mold-wise. But the face mask looks pretty cool on the new Windblade coming out, so why did I pick this up? I wasn't sure, I was already home, so I decided, you know what, I've got it. Let's just open it up and see how it is. And you know what? I don't regret my purchase. This is a very good figure. In fact, it went so far for me to not mind the amount of red. To this day, I still say that this figure should use more red, which, again, thank God there's a Combiner Force version coming out, but I really don't mind it now, having this figure. I think that this figure is pretty cool. Now, I have the Generations one, but it's in robot mode, so we will compare it in the robot mode. But let's just take a look at the alt mode. Now, it still has a lot of red. It could use more paint applications to it. The Combiner Force one is going to add more black and more silver to this, which is pretty good. I also like the Combiner Force having the blue windows instead of the black, although I don't mind the black. I just think the blue looks really good, and then the black nose cone looks pretty good too. I just think that the paint applications on the newer one looks pretty good, but once again, I just randomly decided, you know what, I'm just going to pick this up, and really I don't regret my purchase. I think this one looks pretty good too. Not sure how I feel about the dark red in the back, because that doesn't really match anything else, but part of me really likes it. Maybe it's because this section also uses a lot of black, so it's like, it's split down the middle. You get mostly red, and then you get mostly darker colors on the back. Yeah, her arms are just right there, but the Generations one did that too. There's a lot of Transformers that transform into jets that kind of do that, so I don't mind. Her whole entire weapon can connect on the bottom, which looks a little... what am I saying? Looks a little obnoxious. The Generations version seems to add that a little better. It seems to sink in a little more compared to this, but it's just whatever. I mean, you can put it off to the side and do whatever you want with that. You can give it to some other figure if you want. You can also plug that on the front there if you want. She does have landing gear, so you don't really need this to stand the figure up. You can just use the landing gear, which is pretty cool. I know I keep putting this off camera. I'm sorry for that. One complaint that I do have is this side of the wing seems to pop off way too often. I can get it to settle down, but just so easily it will pop back into place. This wing doesn't really do that, but this one does, and I don't know exactly why it does that. You also get these jet booster things that can move around, so you have that. You can also pop them out if you don't like them. Usually I keep them down like this. I mean, why not? So yeah, with that out of the way, this thing seems to be popping off way too often, and I don't know why. It doesn't usually do that. In fact, it slots in pretty well, so that's kind of odd. But anyways, with that said, that is the jet mode. Let me lift up the camera. I just want to show this off too. The one on the cartoon design right here has two swords, and Windblade doesn't have two swords, so I don't really understand that. Maybe eventually she will, but from what I recall from the show, she only has one. She doesn't even have this little thing right here. I can't remember what it's called, but she doesn't even have that. She just has the hilt, and then the sword comes out of that, so I find that funny. Anyways, let's go ahead and transform the figure. It's pretty easy to transform, but interesting nonetheless. So, pop up the landing gear if you have that out, which I really like the landing gear on this, which is odd for me to say. Anyways, open this section up. You don't really need to open that, but I just do it to add one other step to the transformation, and just move that back to get these tabs out of the way of the arms, and move the wings back. Next, take these wings and fold them up like so. Then take the arms and pop them off from the sides, and bring the legs and extend them out. Let's see, rotate her from the waist, and separate the legs, rotate the feet around, which, by the way, I love the feet articulation. I think that's pretty good. This one is a little too tight for me, though. And make sure that the knees are plugged into place. There's a place where you can tab the these bits into here, so that's pretty good. So with that out of the way, you're pretty much almost done. What you're going to do is bring that down, bring this back all the way, and close that up, and you're done. That's it. That's the whole transformation, which is very good. It's a very quick transformation. I really don't mind Jet Transformers having a quick transformation, like Starscream or something like that. I don't know, it's just, I like the fastness. Is that a word? Fastness? I don't know. Fitness? No, that's something different. Anyways, okay. Windblade looks really cool. Yes, she still has too much red going for it, but a part of me really does like the look of this. I think the red is actually kind of fitting for this toy. It's a red plastic, so it's not painted on. I can't find anything that's painted on except for the legs, which is probably why this is a darker red, is because they couldn't get it to match this, but really, you couldn't get that to match that? I mean, yes, this is on black plastic, but I mean, come on, you could do something. Anyways, she's got some pretty good articulation. She's got a ball joint here. She's got this mushroom joint that I really don't like moving. I really don't. It's just way too tight. Elbow joint only goes up to there. She's got ball joints right here in the hips. She's got rotation in the waist. She's got a rotation joint here. She's got a knee bend, a double knee bend, so that's really good. And lots of foot articulation, and it goes further than that. It goes up to about there, so that's really good. I really like that. And a ball joint in the head. Now, the unfortunate part of the head is, at least on mine, it's very loose. The ball joint is really, really loose on this thing. I don't understand why. Now, what's good about the head is you still have that fan piece, just like the Generations one, and you can pop that off and plug that into her hand. It doesn't plug in too well, but at least it's got a circular peg right there, instead of just using the tab, just like the Generations one, so I guess that's good, you know, but it still looks kind of odd, and I don't know why she would use it in such a way. Just looks weird to me. Also needs to be entirely yellow. That's something that the Generations one does way better than that, is have it entirely yellow. But with that out of the way, you get the game code thing on her bosoms. So if you want that, if you want to take a picture of her bosoms and have an excuse for it, well, there you go. Anyways, so with that out of the way, she's got some blue paint applications, which is very nice. I like the wings coming off the back. The cockpit is a little obnoxious, but it's not too bad. Now you can plug this on the side of her, but the unfortunate side is that just looks a little too big for me. I don't know. And also, there's a peg right here that gets in the way of the wings. You can move that out of the way, but yeah, there is that. Anyways, you can pull out the sword, and the sword is entirely black plastic, which is unfortunate. But I think for this toy, it works. Maybe it's because the Windblade, ironically enough, needs more black, and, well, this is all black, so there you go. Anyways, that plugs into the hand, but unfortunately, if you have it on straight, it pops out pretty easily, so you have to have it on the side. So that kind of sucks. You can get her to wield it by both hands, but that, you know, that means you have to rotate it here, and I don't like that. It's just the mushroom peg is way too tight. But anyways, you can plug that right there. And let's compare it to a couple other figures. So with me, I have the Scorponok. I do not have the Optimus Prime from the same wave. So there you go with that. I also have Chrome Dome, which is a modern deluxe class figure. And she's a bit shorter, so that's not bad. I do like that. And then finally we have the Generations version, which I really like the style of the Generations version. I think that the color scheme is way better on the Generations version. I think mold-wise, this one takes the cake. There's a lot of complex things going on with this one, which, for people who like complex transformations, that's fine. And I kind of like how she's molded. I like the curves and the lines and whatnot. I think that looks good. But I really like this figure. It just looks like a younger version of this. I also think that I like the head on this one more than this one, just because this one looks way too big. I don't know if that's because now I have these two figures and this one's a much smaller head. I don't know why, but this head just seems way massive. Like, you know that bad guy character from Alice in Wonderland that has the big head? Yeah, that's pretty much this. I also like the wings on this one more than this, although I like the articulation on the wings more on this. The sword on this one really beats it, and if you're wondering, the swords are basically the same. The only differences that I found is a bit of plastic at the bottom, like right here, that seems to stick out. That's pretty much it. Both the swords are pretty much the same, to the point where you can just take this sword and put it right through into that, and you can take this sword and put it right through into... Can you? Maybe it's a thicker sword, actually. I'm not sure. It looks like this black one might be a thicker sword, so I guess you can't really do that. Well, you can do that with the RAD one. You can add this sword to that. So, there's that. Anyways, with that said, lots of great articulation. I don't really mind the paint because I think the mold is pretty good. Is it perfect? No, but I think I really like it. So, if you're not going to get the Combiner Force one, but you still like this, and you like the head for this one, but you just don't like the paint, I'd suggest checking this one out, at least. Because you might find out that the paint isn't that bad. I don't know, just something about this figure. Like, the mold is so good for me that the paint doesn't really bother me. So with that out of the way, I thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and all those fun doodads, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh, one more thing before I stop, is that there is a peg thing on the side here, just like the Generations one, so you can take this and plug that into her hand like so, but usually I just leave that off to the side, which is ironic because the Generations one, I don't usually tab onto the side of the hip, but then again, that seems to stay on just fine when the Generations one would just pop off at an instant. Anyways, again, that's pretty much it. I thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.